Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a review on CrowdProperty. So for those of you that don't know what CrowdProperty is, it's a peer-to-peer lending platform. Okay, so this comes up in a lot of conversations I have is, Aaron, where do you invest your money? What platforms can you recommend? Well, CrowdProperty is certainly one of them. It's primarily focused on property development and refurbs, HMO conversions, everything to do with property. And us, the investors, we can join this company from a minimum of £500. So it's a great entry level for those who are looking to get onto the investment ladder, shall we say, and also joining a very reputable company, which is really important to me, and it should be important to all of us as investors that we work alongside companies that have a good reputation and grow year after year. And I can tell you firsthand, CrowdProperty is certainly one of those companies. Now, before we begin, I do want to say there's no financial advice in this video. These are my own personal opinions, experiences as an investor, and I'm not sponsored by CrowdProperty. This is just an independent review that I'm doing because I have so many conversations with you guys and girls about where I invest my money and platforms that I use and why I use them. So what I will say before we jump into this review, we are going to hop onto my laptop. We're going to go over the website. Do stick around to the end because you're going to come away with a lot more information. If you do have a certain amount to invest and you're looking to move that money, opposed to it being in the bank earning minimal, because that's essentially what it does, sitting in the bank. So I am a big believer in getting that money moving, but of course you need to do your own due diligence. Take my review, learn from it, but CrowdProperty's website is so detailed and everything's a click button that you will really need to go check it out yourself, and I'll include all the links below. So without further ado, come with me, hop onto the laptop, and let's cover off CrowdProperty and what they have to offer if you are joining as an investor. Okay, so here we are on CrowdProperty's homepage, and what we're going to start with is who they are and what they do. So I'm going to try and keep this really informative. Like I said, the website is so detailed, there's so much to go through, so you will really need to go check it out, and there's amazing information on here. What I'm going to kick this off with is Michael Bristow. I'm hoping to get him onto my podcast where we can really dive into CrowdProperty as a platform and all the opportunities that we have, both as investors and also if you are a developer looking to borrow and raise capital for your property projects, because they are doing both. They are accommodating for the investor and the borrower, which is amazing. So they act as the middlemen. So as I said, essentially CrowdProperty is a peer-to-peer platform where they work for the investors and the borrowers, and they raise the capital in between that, and then they monitor and they oversee all the projects that go on to completion to make sure the investors get the return on their money. Now, as you can see here, Simon Zucchi, many of you probably know who he is. He's within property, and he is the founder, well, co-founder of CrowdProperty. And I actually remember back in 2014 when CrowdProperty was founded, Simon actually announcing that there was a 12 million initial pot to be deployed for property developers, which is awesome. I remember being at the PIN meeting listening to him speaking. So I want to kick this off. They are award-winning. They were founded in 2014, and year after year there's just been growth upon growth. Now, from the investor's perspective, which is what we're looking at today, we look for a reputation, credibility. As an investor, we want to feel comfortable, and already what you can see here is they have won many awards. In fact, 14 awards to be precise, across all different platforms, which if they're winning awards, that's a good reputation, credibility, and it makes us feel that little bit more comfortable. You can see some of the names they've been featured and they partnered with here: SaaS Alliance, so forth, Trusted Land, Loan Clear, big names there. And they've also featured in 24 news and media articles, okay? And big names again: Financial Times, Financial Times Weekend, Forbes, the Sunday Times, so forth. Go check them out. Go back and actually read some of those articles. So that's what we look for as investors, is credibility. And as you can see here, they're also on Trustpilot. I won't click on it now, but I do know that they're rating 83% at 5 stars on Trustpilot, and also on Google, they are rating 4.8 stars out of 5 on Google reviews. A big part of this, for reassurance, is they are FCA authorized and regulated. And what does that mean for any of those that don't know it? Well, the FCA is the Financial Conduct Authority, and essentially this is a financial party that will oversee a company and everything that happens within the finances, you know, borrowing of money, the movement of the money, to make sure it is all legitimate and above board. So the FCA is regulating what happens within CrowdProperty. That's a real big comfort for all investors to know that they're sitting behind and making sure that everything is done above board. Now, let's have a look at what they've actually achieved as a company, and this is fantastic. So let's have a look at some of the numbers. So they funded 1,958. Projects funded in total, 425. Projects repaid to date, 219. What's been invested, 181 million. Investors on board, 16,681. Proud to say I'm one of those investors. And this is very rare. 100% paid back, get my words out. That's very rare. I've invested onto many peer-to-peer platforms, and I can honestly say that you don't often get 100% repayment. And that comes to a total of 112 million here. So those are some awesome numbers, okay? And again, there's some other information about transparency, and CrowdProperty are very open and honest, and you know, everything that they can share is on this website, certainly from what I can see. So what are the real benefits through investing with CrowdProperty? Well, what I will say is it's very, very easy to set up an account. Open your digital wallet, very simple. You have to pass a very basic questionnaire just to make sure you understand, you know, the investment risks and so forth, and that you're financially savvy. You will have to pass that. And the customer service team are on hand either via email and phone, and they get back really quick. What I love about this platform is you don't often get 4 options. I mean, check this out. Standard lending, so this is what I have, okay? So essentially this is you open up an account and then you can pick the projects that you invest into, okay? So you can hand pick, and we're gonna have a look at those shortly. Tax-free ISA lending, okay? So IFISA. This is where obviously you have that tax wrapper. You have pension lending, so if you have a SAS, or you want to utilize a pension that you have through a company perhaps, you can do so. Discover Auto Invest. This is something that's relatively new, but it's up and running. I love this. I haven't yet used it. I know people that do, and it's fantastic. And it's basically where you put the money in and CrowdProperty does the rest for you. They will spread your money. If you put £1,000, they'll spread that 1,000 across multiple different assets, projects, sorry. So it diversifies your security. You're already taking first charge through CrowdProperty as a company. So you mitigate a lot more risk by doing auto invest opposed to picking your own projects, because then obviously you're in a single project. If we actually have a look at some of these projects, you can see the forecast of what's coming up. So coming soon. Now, we've got Norfolk, Somerton. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. I'm not going to try and pronounce that, but you know, I've picked the wrong day, I think. But you know, you can see what's coming up. So if you live nearby one of these projects, you know, you could even go along and actually see the project before it starts and during the process, and it gives you the overview. So I always look, this is me personally, I look for terms of 10 months and less. So I would be looking at Glasgow, I'd be looking at Halsall. Have we got any more that's less? So we can go show more to open up some more. 9 months, Cheshire. And then of course it tells you the return that you're going to get and the amount being raised, and it gives you the date that this goes live. Now the brilliant thing, before I move on, I'll pop it onto the next slide, is you get to join a live webinar with the developer. This is unheard of. You don't often get this when you lend into peer-to-peer platforms. You can join the webinar when it starts, all the detail. You register your interest onto a project, you get sent the email, and you join a live webinar with CrowdProperty, the experts involved, and the developers. What I've clicked on here is a finished product. Okay, so this was obviously the property in question of this project, and then the brilliant thing as the investor, you get updates all throughout the you know, the ongoing of the project, what's happening, who they are. So I think many people who are in property, you probably know Martin Rapley, Sarah Rapley, Rapley Investments. So credible developers. Gives you all the information. Again, transparency is key when you're investing your hard-earned money. Exit strategy tells you the strategy and vision, the borrower, who they are. You know, it gives you their company name, company number, sorry. Check them out on Companies House, do your own due diligence. And then there's a nice little touch here. You get an investment calculator, I love this. So again, you can enter from 500, gives you the amount. So if you're on a 6-month loan, you're gonna get £18.25. Total there, it shows you. I like to do anywhere between 1,000 to 5,000, so let's just bang on 5,000. If I was in a 12-month, I get 365, so a total of 5,365 back. Now, you know, don't get me wrong, we're not retiring on that, but is that better than what you're gonna get in a bank? Absolutely, and you're going into a property company that is reputable, has been very open and transparent. We know who the developers are, and if the project ever goes wrong or there's a market drop, CrowdProperty taking first charge. They will actually take over that project and complete it and pay all the investors back. Very transparent here again, all the fees, credit assessments, and again, lots of information about the developer. CrowdProperty comments, CrowdProperty Shield, thorough, rigorous due diligence, first charge security, unparalleled expertise, okay? And then obviously you've got a bit of a disclaimer down there because obviously capital is at risk, as with anything within investments. Okay, so there is a lot of information on here. Like I say, everything seems to be a click button. The brilliant thing is there's FAQs. If this doesn't answer all your questions, again, you can get in touch with the customer service team. I really enjoy this platform. I use this 2, 3, 4 times every year to get money moving. There is no point it sitting in the bank. That's not financial advice. It's just that I can't stand money sitting in the bank where I can deploy it, get it into a property investment, lend out my money, and then get a nice return within a reasonable time frame. You know, like I say, anywhere from 6 months, 9 months, 8 months, you know, and you get updates if there's ever delays as well. Now, from the borrowing side of it, I'm not going to cover too much. What I will say is from what I know, okay, so let's just go on view case studies. I know developers who have raised money, like Dick Dabner and other you know, reputable property developers. Application process, very simple, took under 5 minutes. They had a decision within 24 hours. There we go, Peter and Dick Dabner, I know them. Who else have we got up here? So we've got a few household names that you might recognize here. And then it's very simple. You apply for the finance, you go through a very quick process. And of course, what's key for any developer, borrower, you need to make decisions quickly so you get answers very quickly from CrowdProperty. I just can't fault it. And like I said, I'm gonna try and get Michael Bristow, sorry, correction there, onto my channel, onto the podcast, and we'll dive into this really deep and we'll try and get some answers. And, you know, leave me a comment below if there's any questions you want me to find out or ask, or you've got any questions about, you know, getting onto the CrowdProperty ladder, do get in touch. You know, I'm going to leave some links in the description below. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up. I hope you've enjoyed this review. It was a very quick overview. Like I said, we could go on forever here, but you know, this is hopefully giving you a bit of an insight. It's a brilliant platform. I use it all the time. They're very open, very transparent, and you know, happy days to some smart investing. And as always, please do like and subscribe. And until the next video, I'll see you all very soon.